Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. This is the second and final video for this Monday night. It's currently 9 p.m. I do apologise for these videos coming out a little bit late tonight, guys. I've had a very big day today. I haven't had time to really do anything at all, to be honest. So the second video is going to be my Melbourne Storm 2021 predicted NRL team. Now, to be honest with you, the Melbourne Storm team for this year, I think, is one of the easiest to pick, because they have so many players that have cemented so many positions in their side. So, as always, I've gone through their squad, I've had a good look at their roster, and I've come up with my best Melbourne Storm 1 to 17, along with a couple of reserve players for backup and all that. So, without further ado, this is my Melbourne Storm 2021 NRL predicted team. Fullback, Ryan Papenhuyzen. On the wings, Remus Smith and Josh Adokar. In the centres, Brinko Lee and Justin Olam. In the halves, 5'8", Cameron Munster, halfback Jerome Hughes. The front row of Jesse Bromwich and Christian Welsh. The hooker is Harry Grant. The second row of Kenny Bromwich and Felice Kafusi. The lock is Dale Finucane. And on the interchange bench, it is Brandon Smith, Nelson Asafa Solomona, T.U. Kamikamifa, and Nico Hines, and the coach is Craig Bellamy. Now, obviously Melbourne have got so much quality in the starting side, and the reserve players, just in case of injury and suspension, I've gone with George Jennings, Isaac Loomi, Max King, and Riley Jacks. Now, obviously the Melbourne Storm have got so much quality in that side. A lot of those players have got their positions cemented. They've already cemented where they'll be playing. I think having a look at this side, I don't want to be giving away any early predictions, but this team has to be considered one of the favourites to win the premiership. They won it last year. They're going to be very hard to beat again this season. Now, not going to give away any predictions or anything, but I think Melbourne are going to have a very big year. I think they'll be somewhere in the top four. I think they pretty much live in the top four. But let's go through the team. So I've got Papenhuyzen at fullback. It's a no-brainer. Best fullback at the club. Didn't play State of Origin last year due to injury. He got injured in that grand final where there was a moment in that grand final where Papenhuyzen kept the ball in play and he injured himself, so he wasn't in Origin because of that sole reason. But he's a future Origin player, Papenhuyzen, and he's a fantastic player. Probably a top 3 fullback in the game, so Papenhuyzen at fullback is a no-brainer. The wingers, Brinko Lee and Josh Adokar. Not Brinko Lee, Remus Smith and Josh Adokar. Now, I started off with Remus Smith. He left the Bulldogs to go to the Melbourne Storm. Now, this right wing position is replacing Suliasi Vunivalu, who's gone to rugby union. Now, Remus Smith or George Jennings. Take your pick. I think Remus Smith will get the first crack on the wing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was George Jennings. But I've gone with Remus Smith at this stage, but wouldn't be surprised if George Jennings got it. And the other winger, the Fox, Josh Adokar. Probably the best winger in the game at the moment. The way he played last year and the way he's played in his last couple of years has been fantastic. So him on the wing is a no-brainer. In the centres, Brinko Lee and Justin Olam. Brinko Lee had a really good year last year. Probably the best year of his rugby league career. Played State of Origin for Queensland. Did a good job for the Melbourne Storm in that right centre position. Obviously, he makes the side after last year's fantastic year. The other centre on the left side, Justin Olam. One of the top 5 centres in the game. This bloke is brilliant. He has it all. One of the best centres in the game. A great combination with Cameron Munster and Josh Adokar. Justin Olam is a no-brainer. In the halves, 5'8" Cameron Munster, halfback Jerome Hughes. In my opinion, Cameron Munster is the most clutch player in the NRL. He just gets things done. He knows how to win the big games. Doesn't go missing in the big games very often. But Munster, what a player. Obviously, he's the 5'8" for the Storm. Halfback, Jerome Hughes, in my opinion, a top 3 halfback in the game at the moment. He was brilliant last year. He made the halfback position his own. He's really developed himself into a very good halfback, and I thought he was great last year, and obviously he is the halfback for the Melbourne Storm, along with Munster at 5'8". The front row, Jesse Bromwich and Christian Welsh. Now, Jesse Bromwich, very experienced front rower, a very good player still to this day. Some people think he still hasn't got what it takes, but I think those people are blind and they're So I don't know what they're talking about. But Jesse Bromwich had a great year last year. I thought he was fantastic. So obviously he makes the starting side for the Storm. The other front rower, Christian Welsh. Now, I actually doubted Christian Welsh. When he did his ACL, I didn't think he'd come back the same player, and he came back, and he was fantastic. And I thought last year he was probably in the top 5, top 10 best front rowers in the game. I thought he was fantastic. Christian Welsh, what a player he is, and what a player he was last year. The hooker, obviously Cameron Smith's not there anymore. They've got Harry Grant there. Had a fantastic year at the West Tigers on that loan deal. Had a fantastic game 3 in State of Origin. Harry Grant's the future of the Melbourne Storm. He'll be hooker there for the next 10 to 15 years, however long he wants to be hooker. I think he's a fantastic player, Harry Grant. I think he'll be a top 3 hooker by the end of this season. He's a fantastic player, and obviously he is going to be hooker for the Melbourne Storm. The back row of Kenny Bromwich and Felice Kafusi. Kenny Bromwich, one of the most underrated back rowers in the game, arguably one of the most underrated players in the game. I think he's in the top 5 most underrated players. He does everything right week in, week out on that left side with Munster and Olam and Addo. Great combination he has on that left side, Kenny Bromwich, a very good player. The other second rower is Felice Kafusi. Now, I think if Tino had stayed with Melbourne, Felice Kafusi could have been fighting for the second row position. I thought he was very average last year. Didn't really impress me a whole lot. I'm giving him another chance this year. Obviously, he played State of Origin, which I still don't think he deserved to. But Felice Kafusi, I think he's obviously going to be starting back row for the Storm. I think he just gets the nod over Nelson. There's been a little bit of talk that Nelson could play on the second row this year, but I think Felice Kafusi will definitely get first crack, and I think he deserves to get first crack. He's won 2 grand finals in the back row for the Storm now, so obviously he makes the side. The lock is Dale Finucane. A lot of people had Brandon Smith at lock in their Melbourne Storm sides. Some had Nelson, but Dale Finucane is an Origin player. You got to start this bloke. He's very underrated, very consistent, does a great job week in, week out. I think Dale Finucane might be a better front row than a lock, but I think Dale Finucane will play lock for the Storm. He's a fantastic player. And on the bench, first player I got is the Wombat, the block of cheese, Brandon Smith. What a player he is. One of the best interchange players in the game. Very versatile. Can play hooker, can play lock. He can even play back row if you want him to. He does it all, Brandon Smith, the block of cheese. It's currently his last year at the Melbourne Storm, from what I understand. So, what a play Brandon Smith is. He obviously makes the bench. Along with that big man, Nelson Asafa-Solomona. This bloke is probably the best forward bench player in the game. When he comes on the field, just watch the defensive line. The forwards are out there who are a little bit tired. Nelson comes on fresh as a daisy, and he just mauls through the defence. He's a nightmare. If I was playing footy, I wouldn't want to tackle Nelson Solomona. I'd rather run away, to be honest. Nelson is just a scary man in general. So what a player he is. He makes the bench, along with Tui Kamikamifa, another player to watch out for. I think Kamikamifa's got a lot of potential. He's a player of the future, I think, Kamikamifa. I think he'll make the bench for the Storm. He's a very good player. And the last player on the bench, Nico Hines. I think he'll come on and be a bit like what Ryan Pappenhausen did in 2019. Come on, maybe play a little bit in the middle. I think he'll be a bit of a backup player in the back line. If there's an injury or if someone plays bad, Nico Hines would come on and fill that role. Nico Hines is a very good player, so I've got him on the bench as well. And in the reserves, first player I got is George Jennings. Could easily start on the wing for the Melbourne Storm over Remus Smith. But I think Remus Smith will get the crack. I think he'll get the nod. But George Jennings will be putting pressure on him every week. So I think George Jennings will be in the reserves most weeks. Along with Isaac Loomi. Had a couple of games last year in the wing for the Melbourne Storm when Addo Vunivalu had a rest and when they were out. I think Isaac Loomi is a player of the future. I think he will definitely get a run this year. But probably in the reserves. He'll probably be more of a backup player, Isaac Loomi. But a player to watch out for if he gets a bit of game time. Along with Max King. Had a couple of games last year. Not a big fan of Max King. I think he's a bit of a bludger. You know, he left the Gold Coast Titans, who were a shambles at the time. Goes to the Melbourne Storm. Thinks he's a big name player. He brought back that dangerous hip tackle last year. I think he's an out-and-out grub, and I can't stand him. So I've got him in the reserves, but I wouldn't be surprised if he made the bench. I think a lot of front rowers would want to punch this bloke in the mouth, bringing back dirty tackles, man. Max King, not a player that I like a lot. Not a player I like very often, but he makes the reserves in my opinion. And the last player, Riley Jacks. I think he'll be in the backup halves If Munster or Hughes went down, Riley Jacks would probably come in. Maybe Cooper Johns as well, but I think Riley Jacks probably makes the reserves for now. But anyway, guys, that's my Melbourne Storm 2021 NRL predicted team. Let me know your Melbourne Storm predicted team in the comments section below. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, there'll be 2 videos again. There will be the corner post, and there will be my St. George Illawarra Dragons 2021 NRL predicted team video. As always, guys, hope you guys have a fantastic Monday night. Thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the corner post.